Hey guys, welcome to Let's Play Rogue Galaxy. Last time we managed to make our way slightly further into this desert town, and well, even though we didn't make a lot of progress, we at least managed to learn a few things, talk to a few people, and I don't know if I just skipped it, but I remember in my test run, and I actually made notes about this when I came in here the first time around. There was a cutscene or a tutorial that told you if you ever, run out of money, you should sell stuff. This is the worst advice the game has ever offered. Never sell anything, ever. There is never a good reason to sell things. You're better off going outside and actually fighting more battles. It's never going to be the case. You're almost always going to want some of those items, unless you're capping out on certain things and you've already done everything. There's basically no reason to sell them. And of course, by the time you've done everything, you don't need to sell anything because you don't need money anymore. But anyway, I wanted to acknowledge that, and I wanted to pick up a couple of things. The recharge drinks, you'll notice with the amount of money I have, I did do some combat in between episodes, and I do want to pick up the 3 that are available because 1, we don't have any, and 2, they are going to be useful going forward. We can't buy those yet. We don't need any more of those. The rest of the stuff should be all good. Still don't have that other weapon in there that I wanted to buy, but I wanted to pick that up for a reason. One of the things I was doing while I was fighting enemies last time, let's check out the battle recorder here. Yes, as you can see, I have usually gotten to approximately the cap for most of the enemies that I've run into. And I'm going to show you on the map generally whereabouts you can find the enemies, because this game's got an interesting little feature where, and it's not explained in-game at all, but if you go to certain sections of certain areas, you have a higher chance of running into certain groups of enemies. This guy here, and the dragonfly and the mish are pretty much available everywhere, so don't really worry about it too much. The sand tortoise, as you can see, I haven't found very many of them. They're not all that plentiful yet. We'll get into that later. The cactus apparently is specifically in the same area that the statue dog is. I'll show that on the map in a minute, but I don't find very many of them. And the gold child, I will show you where to run into them. So let's open up the map here. Now, this little thing, I'm going to put it kind of right at Jaster's head. This area here is generally where most guides are going to tell you to go after the statue dogs and the cactus. The cactus doesn't seem to show up very often there for me, but the dogs are plentiful. The area that you want to go, let's see here. Still can't zoom in on this map. So basically, wherever the gap was, I believe it's here. I think it's right here, if I remember correctly. Or no, it'll be down here. That section of the map where there was an obstacle we had to get around, you want to be on this line, basically where I already am. From the item shop and down through this area. That's where you'll find the gold child enemies, and that's basically all you need. Just run up and down this area, and they're extremely common here. I want to run into them, and on point, there they are, right there. I'm actually fast forward, and I'm going to run away. Basically, anytime you don't want to fight enemies anymore because you don't want to gain too many levels, then just run away. There's no downside to running away in this game. And with that said, unless we find, well, I found some of these guys. So if you hold down the button here, and I don't get interrupted, that's the charge up attack that you can do in place of using flash sword in order to bypass it. There we go. And another thunderstorm. And with that, it's the last battle that I needed in order to max out my last weapon for Jaster there. I have managed to work on all of the weapons that he has. You'll notice they're all maxed there. And Desert Seeker's the most powerful, so we're going to keep that one equipped. That was already maxed out. and all of everyone else's weapons are already maxed out. Now, there is another point that I would like to make. You're going to find a lot of items in this game. I highly, 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 highly recommend that you organize your items. If you do not organize your items, you're going to get confused and get lost and never know where anything is. Specifically, the way that I do it is I use the first page where all the new items will eventually end up going, but I use that for healing, status restoration, AP restoration, that kind of thing. And the second page, actually, and the third page, I'll have to move those over later, but I use the second and third pages to deal with random items that don't seem to have a use outside of the flow and later on the factory when we get to them. And there are a total of 8 characters in this game. They each have a main weapon and a sub weapon. So I like to use 1 slot for main, 1 slot for sub for each character. So 4 per page, take up 2 pages that way. And then the last page here I will use for tossing armor and things like the battle quarter, key items, stuff that you're almost never going to use. If you don't organize your items and there is an auto arrange or an auto organize, I don't recommend it. It just puts everything in a line on the same page and then it'll use up the next page. It's still not very organized. You still can't find anything. So I do it this way. It's a little OCD, I know, but it helps me find things when I need to find things. Since we're already on these items, the status curing items we have here, it's interesting. There's a whole bunch of statuses in this game, but they all bake down to basically 2 things with 1 extra. So we get sleep, which I don't have the item to heal yet, which means you can't take any actions. There's the shocked status, which I don't have anything to heal that either. The shock status means you're unable to take actions and your HP decreases. There's confusion, where your party members will attack their party members. You want to get rid of that ASAP. And then there's basically the same ones we've already seen. Frozen, you're unable to take actions. And paralyzed, you're unable to take actions. Dazed, you're unable to take actions. They don't really do anything else. You have on fire and poisoned, which both decrease your HP gradually. The interesting thing is if you're on fire, and we have an item here that cures it, you can actually walk into a pool if there's one in your vicinity when you're in combat, and you can heal it that way. I love little bits like that. They just add a little bit of extra realism to the game. The dazed status, I don't have anything to cure that. Oh, no, I do, right there. This one, I think they say it at some point, but if you move the left analog stick back and forth really quickly, you'll actually break out of it faster. So it's one minor thing to kind of note there. Anyway, with that being said, we should be pretty much ready to go. Instead of doing anything special, let's make save state instead of saving because it's faster, and we will progress.
The residential area is beyond here.
Gosh, he's not a quiet fella, is he? Must be rather large as well.
You're not planning on having all 3 of us go in there, are you?
You want to fight them all by yourself?
No, not at all. That's crazy, totally reckless.
You know, Mr. Claw, I think you forfeit any points you earn if you, die.
Yeah. Let's go.
That's why I saved.
Hey, wait up!
Poor kid. We hardly knew him.
By the way, if you're following along with the Let's Play, all of the items that I'm grabbing should be all of them. There's a feature later on in the game
Certainly a big monster, all right.
where it will show all of the items on a map,
Positive about this, Mr. Claw.
but it's only after we've already done everything.
Like I have a choice.
Okay, we have a boss. First things first, ignore the main boss and target
Hang on. His foot armor's off.
his armor.
I get it now. That's a Mark 8 salamander. If we can manage to break the shackles on its legs, then the shield on its back will open up. Let's hurry up and break the other shackles.
I don't know if you can target the main boss before doing this, but I know what I'm supposed to do, so I'm gonna go straight to my job. I should have blocked there instead of, can I, video game? I didn't want to put fast forward on there, but I did. I was trying to use my joystick and it was not doing what I wanted. Ow. All right, so we're gonna throw a couple of healing items out here. There we go. And with that, we got all 4 of those guys down. If you're not cluing into that strategy, you're probably not going to have a good time. What the hell is that?
That's gonna be his weak spot.
Try attacking him there.
It looks like that,
How am I supposed to
whatever
do
that thing was from the Teenage Mutant
Back
Ninja
in
Turtles
right away.
cartoon.
Isn't it obvious?
Nuts? There's no way.
I think I'll pass.
I've got just the thing for this kind of situation.
What's that?
I'll tell you later. Watch this.
What the?
That's my monography shot. What do you reckon? Do you like it? Jump on the back of those monography platforms and you can get up on the back of the beast. Here you go, big man. Why don't you take this for now?
That's one way to give me a new item in the middle of a boss fight, but okay,
When
sure.
the platform disappears, just shoot up another one. But remember, you must equip the monography shot first before you can use it.
Now's your chance. Go get him, Mr. Claw.
Well, you guys are useless, so I'm assuming that I have no choice. So we're gonna swap weapons here. The one that's highlighted in white, as you can see here, is the one you're currently equipped. So yeah, we're gonna swap over to that one, and we're gonna jump up. Yeah, and fall down. Yeah, unfortunately, platforming in this game's not fun. Video game, please. Okay, there we go. So yeah, now it's going to tell you that you have to equip it in order to use it again. Shoot the square button and the platforms will appear. All right, so we got more. We got some more of those. Can you stop moving for 2 seconds? I am slower than you. There we go.
Did that do it?
Nope, I'm afraid not.
But you're almost there. Is the battle recorder ready? That kind of beast will net you heaps of points. Make sure you get it all on tape.
What? You mean this?
Oh, now that is a well-used recorder.
Use that to record your battle with the beast, and later on you can turn it in for points. Now finish off the beast by yourself. After all, it's your prize.
All right. Then here goes.
Its heart has stopped, but it's still being controlled by the power of the rune. Destroy the rune in its head.
Rune?
Oh, come on. Like a legendary hunter needs your help.
I get the feeling he sort of does. I wonder why.
I get that it's a mechanic for teaching the player how the game works, but they make a good point.
Doesn't need to show off. He may not look it, but he's got the goods.
Now, I hope the audio is all right today because, whoa. Okay, so he's going to hit me with that no matter what I do. But I need to activate Flash Sword. So I'm going to hold R1 coming out of this. And he missed it, but that's fine. You may want to jump attack him a little bit here. And activate... Oh, it's still active there. Activate it again. And jump attack. And make sure to guard whenever you need to. And try not to die, because that would be bad. I wouldn't bother healing the on fire status. The boss is almost dead. And there we go. Now, there is one note here. There is a bug with the 60 FPS mod.
Hooray! Ha-ha! You did it!
That's it.
Where the boss can actually jump and land outside of the arena. This did happen in my test run, but it did not happen this time. So if that does happen, it's probably that you're using an older version of the emulator, because I believe the newer version has fixed this compatibility issue. But if it happens to you, don't worry about it. The boss will jump out of the arena for a little while, and then he'll come back in. It gives you a chance to use some potions, heal up, and get ready. He will eventually come back, and you'll be able to finish him off. Just note that that does indeed happen.
Desert Claw, you're the real deal.
I'm happy to see that it doesn't seem to be occurring anymore. This new version of the emulator seems to be working quite well. All right, we got a new item, Try Heal. It's basically a potion for all party members. It's great.
Just as I thought. His potential may be greater than my own.
Oh, I guess we got a Luke Skywalker on our hands.
So listen, Mr. Claw, you got a real name or something, huh?
Huh? Oh, yeah. I'm Jaster. Jaster Rogue.
The subtitles are baked into the game. I can't turn them off.
Good.
Not that I
It's a
would
bit
for an
weird to
LP,
keep
but
calling you Desert Claw. So from now on, if it's all right with you, I'm just gonna call you Jaster, okay?
Now, let's get down to business. I'll be straight with you. Our boss says he wants to hire you. Would you come with us?
Hire me? What? Why me?
Good grief, isn't it obvious? You're Desert Claw, the legendary bounty hunter. And our boss, well, he wants to be a part of that. Let's just say he's scouting you for our team.
These guys still think I'm someone named Desert Claw.
I love the internal monologue.
That
Thank
means-
you.
He must be Desert Claw. I had no idea he was such a big deal.
What is it, Jaster? Are you feeling all right?
You can see going back to that cutscene that they went back to. They went back to it in cutscene mode, and it didn't have all of the extra anti-aliasing on there. So you could see a lot more of the jaggies around some of the characters in the lower resolution. It's kind of cool to be able to piece them side by side, though I do wish they were able to upscale those as well. But I guess there's only so much that you can do with the available technology at this point.
Yeah, I'm fine. So who is it that wants to hire me exactly?
Pay attention to the voice act.
Our boss, Captain Dorgan Goa, a pirate among pirates.
What? Dorgan Goa? The space pirate Dorgan Goa? You mean you guys do space travel?
Oh god, he really is Luke
Of
Skywalker.
course. We're big-time pirates. We travel all over the galaxy. I mean, hunting has its moments, but tracking down immense treasure throughout the universe isn't half bad.
Me. Up in space.
Yeah,
I can see that.
it's that kind of
Not
story.
half bad at all.
Our ship is hidden in the desert to the west of here. Why don't you meet up with us there?
In the desert?
Well, you know, we had a couple of minor issues and we couldn't actually dock at the spaceport. But look, we'll head back to the ship first. You come meet us there before tomorrow morning. All right? All right.
I think it would be weird if the pirates could just
Wait a minute.
dock
I
at the
haven't
spaceport
decided yet.
and no one would bat an eye.
You'll be there, all right. I can see it in your eyes. You were made for the pirate life.
To find our ship, you need to take the west gate and head straight over the desert. Please be sure to prepare for your journey before setting out. We'll be seeing you later. Ta-ta!
Hearing a robot say ta-ta really doesn't work. What I was saying, I guess we'll read this first. So yeah, it'll give you an indicator of where you're supposed to go. That star indicates a story point, and sometimes there won't be any marker. Basically, just run around until you figure it out. And if it's far away, you'll see that little red arrow on the bottom left. A blue star means that you're at the right location, but the wrong floor. So you're gonna have to go to a different floor, but get to around that same point on the other floor. And we need to rent a Yago from the merchant before we go. We need to make sure we save 200, I think it's called Zen? Yeah, 200 Z. I think it's called Zen. In terms of, how much money we need to save for that purpose. My goal prior to, at the end of the last episode was to make sure I had 4,000. I think I had like 4,700 or something like that, which was enough. I don't want to overgrind, but I also want to make sure that I'm picking up enough of these items. Like if you take a look here, I've managed to got some lucky drops. I did some of that drop fixing that I demonstrated at the end of the last episode, but not too much, just enough. Like I didn't do it with anything other than silver bangles and Dreamflower Ash. And I needed to make sure I got a couple of these because we're going to want to use them, and they're not very plentiful for quite a while. Here, you don't need to get too many of these. I happen to get lucky with some of them, but yeah, after I got 2, I stopped trying for them. Same with these. You get 2, you're probably good to go. Getting a handful of these other ones, the iron board and the iron cube, are also relatively rare drops. I believe you get these from the gold child enemy, and once you've gotten a few of these, it's like you only need 1 of each, really. And you don't even need to get them right now. But I didn't get a chance to do Revelation Flow on the other guys, which is one of the things I actually wanted to do, which is why I had some things. Breakthrough, we are going to want to get this, even though I'll never use it. It actually relates to an ability in battle that I never use. But what we're going to do now is we're going to get Desert Wind. We definitely want Dreamflower Ash before leaving here because we're going to want to do this ability, and the Sanchez fruit, and the hot breath. Make sure you've got enough of those, and we get Desert Wind. And we will eventually want to put these in to get Desert Wind level 2. You'll notice that it only activates things where the arrow points in that direction. So I've activated a few different things, but like I didn't activate the bottom one from the breakthrough because there's no arrow there to initiate that, but just generally how it works. We will be getting this item in a couple of areas, and then I'll want to upgrade to Desert Wind level 2 pretty much right away because it's really good. Breakthrough doubles the power and range of thrown objects. Basically, if you press the X button against any of the random items that show up in battle, rocks, barrels, etc., you can throw them at the enemy. I basically ignored this for the entirety of my test run and saw no reason to use it at this point, or by the end of the game, so I'm going to ignore it all game long. Desert Wind stirs up fierce winds in the desert to attack all enemies. Basically, magic spells in this game come in a couple different varieties. They come in buffs, and they come in basically all targeting spells. There's no spell that only targets one enemy. You're either buffing your party members, you're buffing yourself, or you're hitting all enemies. Now, the strength of those spells is different depending on which one it is. Some of them have additional status effects that go along with it. Like this one has the Daze status effect built into it based on the 3 stars there. It's also wind elemental, and it occurs instantly. You may want to unlock this before doing any grinding in this area if you are doing what I'm doing and doing enough of the battle recorder to get a decent amount of it. In order to get max rank on the and get all the way up here to Desert Claw at the start, at the very top of the rankings, you're going to want to get a good chunk of these, because once you get the maximum amount, at least like say 25 out of 25 on Dragonfly, then you'll get the associated points for that. So in this case, 1,200 points, 900 points, etc. And we also get some for defeating this beast as well, even though it was a storyline boss. So we're going to want to get a lot of those over the course of the game. And it's, yeah, we're definitely going to want to get a lot. So the game is telling us that we need to go this way. That's the last place we're going to go. We have a bunch of other things to do before we go there, and shopping is one of them. We're also going to be collecting some new items as well. Pull up my map here. Take a look at some of the newer items. What else do you guys have to say? Good question. Of course, you gotta blame the guys you're at war with. At least nobody does. Well, that's a good thing. Yeah, it kind of is, considering the size of that thing. Would you look at that? All right, so we're in a new area, as you can see here. So we came from over there on the left. Let's take a look at some of the things that we can do around. We've got a new shop to go into here. What do you say? Yeah, Desert Planet, probably pretty hot. Yeah, it's totally a Luke Skywalker story. Desert Planet, wants to go off and see space. Anyway, what do we got here? I do have a bunch of things that I need to purchase. What do I need to purchase? Wake up drops. We actually do need one of these. We don't need all of them. I'll grab 2. And what else do I need? Can't remember exactly. I do have a list here that will show me important information on that. Like, I basically did a whole spreadsheet. So the relaxing aroma, we are going to need 27 of them for the flow. Wake up drops, we'll eventually need 18 of them. The Yago milk, we need 21. The mellow banana, we need 15. Is it there yet? That's not there yet, is it? Oh no, that is there. The iron cube, we're going to need 18 for the flow and 21 for the factory. I was right on. I had the my spreadsheet over top of the window. I couldn't see the actual name. Anyway. So yeah, we've got enough. I don't think we really, like, I'll buy 1 just so that I have it. I don't remember if I need any of them all that soon. I had started making kind of lists of how many items I needed in specific areas. And because of the nature of the Revelation flow and the amount of items that we need for this, for 8 characters, plus all the stuff we need for the factory, plus we also need some of them for another side quest, which is basically a game in and of itself. I told you, this game had scope. It's got a mini game that's just insanely massive. It's like Queen's Blood in the sense that it could have been its own game. I kind of hope they do that, because Queen's Blood was fun. Anyway, I'm getting distracted again. We purchased that, and now we're going to head outside and we're going to go to the next shop. Now, just because the immediate danger is past doesn't mean that the enemies are no longer around. You can actually still find enemies around in the residential area. Now, other than the fact that you would need to in order to fill out all of your required hunting, I don't really know why there's monsters running around town in a storyline narrative sense, but it is what it is. You were hiding the whole time. Yeah, I probably would have as well. I don't blame you for a second. All right, so we got gold children here. Now, we are stuck by ourselves. Let's show off our new ability, Desert Wind. Basically, damn near will finish you off. Yeah, I just used monography shot on that because why not, I guess. I'm just so used to having a damaging weapon on my thing. Oh. See, it looks like that's where it is on the map, but it's not actually there. I guess I should talk to the sun. Hey, look at that. I don't think I looked at that in my test run. All right, who do we got here? What did you say? Pearls before swine. Is that a thing? Do people say that? I have never heard that before. Too heavy for crossing the desert. All right, so we have a new shop here, and we are going to want to make some purchases here. So we're going to want to buy a plain edge, even though we already have one. We're going to want a second. Basically, the way that I'm kind of planning out the weapons is based on the same walkthrough by the same creator on GameFAQs that designed the website with all the maps that I've been following. I think his name is Asmuch, or Asmuch, and he does these really well organized HTML walkthroughs on GameFAQs, or I'm assuming he, but who knows. But excellent guides, work really well, been an invaluable resource in my test run. And there's a specific section, it might even be a separate walkthrough, but it will show you what you need to purchase in order to get to the end of the game, get the ultimate weapons in a relatively efficient manner. I've made some modifications to make things easier for myself, but anyway, so the plain edge, we want to pick up one of these. And the wild edge, we want to pick up one of these. And the slun girls, we're going to want to pick up 3 of these, even though, again, we're already equipping. These are all for synthesizing later in the game, and I will get into that in more detail when we get there. Let's see, we want to buy a cold spray. Now, you'll notice here that the level is actually too low for our friend to use, even though he's not currently in our active party. But look at the amount of damage it has. So it's obviously a weapon for later on in the game. That, based on its price, kind of not surprising. And a missile pod number 2. We also want to pick up one of those. That's all we need from there. And then we can back on out. Now, up here, we've got a treasure chest. There's a few new treasure chests around here. And there's a house here as well, so let's take a look inside. There's a recharge drink if you didn't want to buy any before. You do need one in order to unlock one of Simon's abilities. And there is absolutely nothing in this house. Is that a TV? It is a TV. Well, they have TV. It's funny what you see in sci-fi from the past. Well, everyone's going to have a TV. It's like no one would ever not have a TV. Though in the case, like, I don't know about you guys, like, I have a TV. It's currently running. It's playing the football game. And every time I look over, we were winning. And then I look over, and then we're almost tied. And then I look over again, and now we're losing. So, like, it's there, but I almost never use it. Most of the time, I cast it right off my my monitors instead on my computer, just because I'm already sitting there anyway. And I have issues with, like, sitting there and just watching something. I don't have the focus for it anymore, so I'm going to do 16 other things. As soon as the commercial comes on, I'll instantly mute the other monitor and go do something else, you know, work on notes for this game, whatever it is I happen to be working on at the time. Quiet, you. Looks like those Lone Guardian soldiers are actually doing their job, which is good. It's always nice to see the people taking over your entire planet that are, you know, at least doing what they can to keep you alive. My joystick on my old controller is not particularly happy. If I go all the way in one direction and then just let go of it, it will go back slightly in the opposite direction. Really frustrating trying to use anything where you need precise controls with it, but oh well, it is what it is. I don't want to go through the effort of dragging my PS5 controller over to my, over and just do everything that way. All right. Ow. Video game. Now, here's one of the things. You would assume that I'm down on the ground. How could I use an item? But you can. It's one of those things where I was coming from playing a lot more recent games, and when I started to play this, I kept getting a lot of game overs because I was trying to treat it like it's a more recent game where you actually have to have control of your character in order to heal. You don't. You just need to have stamina. Certain status effects will prevent you from being able to use an item, but it's not like a massive deal. You can be asleep and still, I don't have enough AP, do I? No, I don't. Ow. Okay, we're gonna heal again. As I was saying before, this game can be challenging. It's not as easy as it seems at times, especially when you're on your own. Now, I do want to do a handful of battles to grab some enemies that I was missing, but I also don't want to severely over-level Jaster, so I'm not going to be fighting too many enemies. Some of the NPCs have very similar dialogue. Dreamflower Ash, 3 of them. That's an important treasure chest. Like I said, those items are not common for quite a while. Definitely pick that up. We are going to need a lot of them. I'm assuming that was Mr. Desert Claw. We met him. Here we go. We have authorized personnel only. Can't go in there. Can't fault your performance. But we do owe you one because we didn't do our jobs. Or at least they did some of their jobs. Definitely get that and heal up. Alright, so I got the 3 items around here. I think that's all I need to do around here for the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to teleport. And we're going to go back to the church. And as you'll see here, there is a treasure chest here that was not there before. Containing a cumulus pendant. That will be important for a little bit later. And there's another new item over here. What do we got here? This one is rigged with a trap. Now, the interesting bit about the way that the game is set up is it's got these traps in certain chests, and if you answer correctly, you'll untangle or whatever, defuse the trap properly, you'll just get the item. If you do it wrong, you still get the item, but you'll take usually some damage, or like you'll lose all your AP or something like that. So you really don't want to do that unless you absolutely have to. And if I'm remembering correctly, I'm going to pull up my the right map here because I have the wrong map open. This should be a curse trap. So we want to nullify the curse trap. And for doing that, we get a second cold spray. We're going to need that for later. And here's another treasure chest containing a couple of resurrections. So those are the 3 around here. I got the residential ones, or at least I got 3 of them. More there? Nope, that's all there was there. And oh, right, I can go do that. Yes, I can go do that. Anyway, before we go do that, let's first go in here and we get a cutscene. You'll remember that I said to pay attention to the voice acting a little bit earlier on.
Sounds like things have calmed down out there.
Yeah, but it was a bit more tough than usual.
I'm glad you're okay.
Me too. But listen, Raoul.
What is it?
Never mind.
What's going on, Jester?
Raoul, I'm really grateful. You found me abandoned on the church steps and raised me to be who I am today.
What's all this about? Are you okay? Did you hit your head?
Well, I'm heading out.
All right.
So basically, it seems like the priest is kind of our father figure in this game. And as you can kind of tell by that interaction, Jester didn't really have the guts in order to tell him what exactly was happening. Now that door over there remains locked. Can't go over there yet. That will be a much later thing. But for now, we are going to want to pick up a few more items before we call it a day. Warp back to the residential area here. And we can go to the north. Let's do that. The door out there, even though it shows on the minimap there that it's in red, usually that means you can't go through it. But it is actually open now and we can go that way. The residential area has some different encounter formations if you're interested in trying to fight enemies here, but I prefer to do it when we have 3 party members as opposed to when we only have 1. Not only is it easier, but it's also just better to level up more than 1 character as opposed to just 1. But anyway, let's keep going through here, and while we're doing that, I will talk a little bit about the voice acting. The voice acting in this game, for a mid-2000s games, is surprisingly well done. And sorry for not moving, I have trouble doing 2 things at the same time, like scrolling through my notes to find the information that I want to talk about. Jester is voiced by Will Friedle? Anyway, he was in Boy Meets World. He was one of the brothers, I believe, in that show. That's going back to my childhood. But more importantly, if you are a fan of the DC animated universe like I am, you will recognize his voice as the voice of Terry McGinnis from Batman Beyond. I really love this choice as a voice actor for our lead character. We have a character who's wet behind the ears, but also we hear some of his inner monologue. We know a little bit about this character, and he seems to be more intelligent and have more confidence than a wet behind the ears character usually has. A lot of the time they're, always just surprised by everything, and they don't have a presence to them. Jester has a presence because his voice actor is effective at giving that confidence off. And I really, really like it. It's not such a generic character that you would find in so many other situations. And I think that was extremely well done casting and, well, just a good choice all around. Really helps this game stand out. I remember when I came back to this game for the test run, and I was like, I know that voice. And I couldn't place it for a minute. And then I looked it up and was like, oh, okay, I get it. I know where it's from now, because Batman Beyond was like the continuation of the Batman animated series back in the day. And it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. Brought back the Joker. That movie, fantastic. One of the best Batman animated movies they've made. And it doesn't even focus on the original Batman as much as it does like the Joker and even Robin, which is cool. All right, who else do we got over here? Now, the other 2 characters that we've kind of been introduced to that we've been able to use in battle, I'm not going to include Desert Claw in that. As you might be able to guess by the fact that he's 20 levels higher. He's not such a permanent character. We couldn't check out his Revelation flow grid. He's just kind of there. Doesn't seem to be, as permanent as some of the other characters we've had, where we can actually look at their flow and change their equipment and all this other stuff. But anyway, Simon, the short guy with the Scottish accent, he's voiced by Greg Ellis. He's been in everything. He's been in live action like Titanic, Pirates of the Caribbean, a whack ton of stuff from mid-2000s in terms of animated shows. Played Kate Sith in Dirge of Cerberus, and pretty much everything else and everything else. He's been around for a long time and does a really good job with this character. So I really enjoy having that little bit of variety in there. Steve, you may or may not recognize the voice. Steve is voiced by Yuri Lowenthal, journeyman of voice acting, has been in even more things than Simon's voice actor. He's various characters in Bleach. He was Simone in Gurren Lagann. Watch Gurren Lagann. Suzaki in Code Geass. Also watch Code Geass. What else? Whack ton of kid shows from the mid-2000s. A lot of them seem to be. He was the Prince in Prince of Persia. I'm assuming this is the... what is it? I guess that would have been the second incarnation, because there was Super Nintendo games as well. But the ones that came out on PS2, I have the remastered collection on PS3, I think. And he was also Johnny in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I guess they gave him a different voice actor in between Remake and Rebirth. In addition, Kevin from the Xenosaga series. So, interesting kind of eclectic mix of characters that he's voiced. One of the things I was really interested in when I got around to playing this game was looking at some of the voice actors and going, oh, I remember, from these other things. And I thought it would be interesting to kind of talk about a lot of that, because some of the casting in this game just is really cool. So I figure I'll be able to bring up a bunch of that over the course of the game as we meet new characters. Make sure we use fast forward, run over the save point, get that heal in. And let's find one more chest over here. A snow crest. Now, this is the spaceport. We can't really do anything. But normally, that's where the ships would come in. So let's run over here a little bit and just kind of take a look. For a game of its era, it still looks pretty good. As I was saying, the architecture looks pretty good. Like, it's not like lifelike realistic, but for a PS2 game and with the upscaling on there, it does hold up quite well. The draw distance is not great. The details of things in the background are very bland, very basic, and they don't line up. But then again, this game is like almost 20 years old. So I'm not really blaming it all that much for its lack of kind of depth in that point. They worked with what they had at the time. Now, I believe I got the 2 items in here, did I not? We had 1 treasure chest. And 2 treasure chests, perfect. So we got both those. So we've cleared out all of the items that we can get over here. So let's grab the teleporter and we can go and exchange points. It doesn't really matter. We can do it later. Not a big deal. So anyway, we talked to our father figure. We've done, I believe, all the shopping. Oh, no, I had one other thing I wanted to pick up. Let's go to the item shop. This is another thing that the game doesn't, I think the game does tell you at some point, but it might be half hidden. So let's go in the item shop here. Remember, I was looking for an item before that the shop didn't have. The Gravenross. Graverossi. I can't pronounce any of this crap. Anyway, we need one of these. We want to make sure we pick it up. And now that we've done that, now I can actually equip some of these new items. And as you can see, I may have already worked on those 2. And even though these weapons are weaker, we are going to want to work on them eventually. So I would rather work on them when I'm earlier on in the game where I'm weaker. You don't have to ever worry about maxing out the monography shot. It's only used in a couple of small situations. So let's start working on more of these. It's a game kind of like Final Fantasy IX in that sense, where it kind of incentivizes you to use weaker weapons to learn skills, or in this case, just to max out the experience on these weapons so they'll be useful later to us. All right, I think I've pretty much covered everything that we need to. There's, where's the door? I can find the door. And we can hit the save point again, and I don't think I'm going to do any extra battling around here, though I could. I don't think I need to. How much money do I have? Yeah, I'm sure that's probably enough. I don't think I need a lot of other items that are floating around in the shops around here yet. But kind of the downside to the shops being limited is certain items will be limited in certain shops. So in this previous shop that we were at, the Sanchez fruit is unlimited. In later shops, it will not be unlimited. So if you feel you need extra ones, like you're familiar with this game, but you forgot which shops have unlimited, that one is one of the ones that you'll want to pick up now. Anyway, with that said, that's pretty much all the time we have for today. Another long one. We've tried to get ourselves established here, and now that we're established, I'm going to try and cut back to about half-an-hour episodes instead of 40 to 50 minutes. But I wanted to get everything set up. And one other thing I'll point out is I've had the air conditioner on for this episode in particular because it's hot as hell today. I think I've got it so that it should sound good and you shouldn't notice that it's there. But if it's annoying, let me know and I'll sweat and deal with it. But yeah, that's pretty much all for this one. And I'll see you guys next time.